Somebody once told me to buy the coin they sold me. We're bullish, but they dumped on my ad. They were tweeting me GM like they really gave a damn. Should have said shitty morning instead. Then the blood starts coming and it don't stop coming. Fed changed the rules, little Gary starts gunning. But it didn't stop us trying to have some fun. So memes popped, everyone bought some. So what if there's securities? Why can't we buy whatever we please? It's just a 99% correction. We never ask for protection. Hey now.
Hey.
G'day, everybody, and welcome to the happy hour. G'day to 43OG, True Blue, and special guest DJ Cryptomatic. How you guys going?
G'day. I've watched both episodes of Crocodile Dundee in preparation of this.
Oh, that's it. That's all you need to know. And you might need a beer in hand. That's the only other thing. Although it might be quite early.
It's a bit early on the early side for me for that. Yes.
That's all right.
Yeah,
well,
we got you out
anyway.
of bed early for once. You had me out at like 4 a.m. I reckon. What's the time over there?
We just spoke about that with 43OG because I wanted to have him on the show, but I just realized now that that's probably 3 or 4 in the morning. For me, it's 7:30 now. So
Wow, that's crazy.
It's the wake up show.
Yeah,
very nice. Yep, the old wake up hex, eh? Missed that.
It is wake up hex. Yeah.
Well, it's that
so
Friday
here we are.
afternoon here, so,
that's not a kangaroo behind you there in the backdrop.
No, I've got the dragon. That's right. I'm just a big fan of dragons.
That's our native Aussie dragon, yeah.
That's right. He just kicks around in the outback. You don't see him much. Just So how you guys been? How you been, True Blue?
Oh, I just dropped out.
You dropped out? I was just saying, how you been, man?
Yeah, not bad. Another week down. We're still crawling, aren't we? But yeah, no, all good. Going well, thanks. Yeah, how about yourself?
Awesome.
You feeling good?
Yeah, so I had the old snoz surgery the other day. I had a nose surgery on Friday last week for a broken nose. So it's like the third time I've had my nose broken. So
looking
good, in a bar fight or
no, because I do martial arts. So I've copped a few punches in the face. And then so this last one was actually from wrestling. So someone's shoulder, we just do like free sparring and stuff like that. So it's all mouth guards and stuff. But yeah, just his shoulder just went straight into the side of my nose and just pissing blood everywhere. And I was like, not again. So anyway, it was pretty crooked before. So it's like it's kind of straight, whatever.
It's looking good from where I'm sitting. I think you're right.
Job.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like a proper like rhinoplasty. Like they just go in there and just and they break it again, and they just
stop it.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, I've done it a few times now, so I'm sort of over it. Anyway, how's your week been, DJ? You've been busy, mate. You've been you're doing all sorts of Twitch streams and stuff, doing your DJ
I'm doing all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to stick to my schedule, which is always Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday nights. On Friday, actually, we used to do it together with Cabana Crypto for their happy hour show. But Cabana sort of scaled back as well on his schedule. He's now sort of reduced it to just once a month, I think. So that's fallen a bit off by the wayside, but yeah, I'm still out there doing my thing. So if anybody that likes some music that is in a hex setting, please follow me on Twitch. It's all a numbers game. The more followers,
Yeah.
the more viewers, the more people I have there, the better I can showcase the Hex and PulseChain branding to actual no coiners. That's a way to reach out to just music communities on Twitch. And I've been doing this now for like, we're going on 4 years almost. I think it's 3.5 years now. Started this during the pandemic. And it's funny, sometimes when I go, when I'm not live and I just look around and go into other DJs streams on the Twitch platform and just say hi in the chat, they go, oh, there's DJ Cryptomatic and the Hexicans. It's like
awesome.
Totally out of nowhere.
That's cool, man. That's really cool.
That's really cool.
It kind of sticks, the logo and the colors and everything. It kind of sticks with people. So what Richard always has said, we have the best logo, and I think we have the best. We might just have the best logo. Yeah,
100% we do. Yeah.
Look, man, it's really cool. Like I've tuned in a couple of times, and just like you're always pumping some cool things. So, and I like how you have different styles. Like some days it might be like 80s, or it might be like
always different
retro roller skating funk, and then there's like D&B, and so it's sort of like something for everyone as well. I think, which is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
We
try to mix it up. And this weekend, actually, there is a Twitch festival going on where they have like 80 different DJs going all back to back, 30 minutes. And they asked me to submit a set as well for that. So that's happening this weekend. Awesome. I wish I had more details on that. So as soon as because I don't actually know which, it starts tonight. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I don't even know which day my thing is going to happen. So as soon as I find out, I will post it on my Twitter. So if people want to follow me there. And that would be a nice thing to support, because it's always 300-400 people watching live during these Twitch festivals. It's kind of a big thing. And that's again is another, like, I'm not doing this for me or to get any DJ fame. I had this back in the day during my professional career. This is all for Hex and Pulse to really just get the branding out to people in a different kind of way. Yeah.
Awesome. No, I think that's really good. Sort of we can do raids and things. People can come on. It's 3 a.m. it looks like for me. But
yeah, that's the problem.
That's a little bit hard. Might still be awake.
Some diehard Down Under guys are tuning in though. So
no, I think it's a good idea. To sort of raid these streams and sort of represent Hex and PulseChain. I think that's really cool, particularly because there's people that are maybe not necessarily into crypto at all. Then that just sort of exposes them to what I would say is one of the best cryptos out there. So.
And I have like these repeating chat messages which are automated, which explain and talk about Hex, and you have links to the Hex Scout, and so like if you're watching like an hour of my set, and every 10 minutes you get something there about
subliminal,
eventually you're gonna click on it. So that's kind of my way of contributing to the onboarding or to the branding.
That's awesome.
With no point. That's all that is.
Speaking of sort of shilling PulseChain and things like that to maybe no coiners as well, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Don Ma Fan. I think True Blue and the guys chatted about it last week. But so he had his fight. This is Dom here. This is the Eternal MMA that they did. So he did a thing. He had a fight. So he's only 23, so he's a young guy. But yeah, he was impressive. Like he won his fight. It's like by elbows, like it was like a ground and pound thing. It was pretty vicious. Like, and you could just tell he knew what was up. Like he, controlled like the range really well, and then just takedowns and just passed the guard, and just he was like a really good fighter. And then so he had, I think, Go Pulse on his walkout shirt on his back, and he did it in the post fight. He talked about Go Pulse. And I think he did an Instagram thing talking about Go Pulse as well. So he's like trying to get the name out there. So I think Nick Eddy was the guy who's like sponsoring him. So yeah, shout out to those guys. Like, it's the same as how Mayo and the guys were doing that with the with Jake Lund and the Muay Thai. So yeah, I think people sort of see this stuff, and maybe it takes 2 or 3 times where you see it here, you see it maybe on a Twitch stream with DJ, and then after a while you think, I might just
you never know. It all helps. It all adds. Yeah.
it's pretty easy to remember. So, and there's actually a couple of other things I noticed. So I think it's pulsecoinlist.com, which I think they've got a really good onboarding site here. So it's pulsecoinlist.com/buy, and it's basically got all the different platforms, so the main PulseChain bridge, you've got 0 fees, talks about Pateus as a DEX aggregator for best order execution. There's, centralized exchanges, PulseX, Block Blend, Coast, 9mm Spark Swap, 9-inch, and then the cross-chain stuff like Rubik. That's basically PortalX. PortalX uses this Rubik. So if you're bridging from like Solana or Base or whatever over to PulseChain, so, and this just tells you straight up like whether they're like what the fees are, whether you need KYC. So yeah, I really like this site, particularly for sort of onboards and people who aren't familiar with the space.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's a faucet now as well. Did you guys see that? I don't know how necessary it is, because I think there's that bot that still gives you like 1,000 pulse or whatever. If you bridge across with the main bridge and you've got no pulse in your wallet, I think a bot will just literally give you 1,000 pulse. But there's a faucet now as well. So if you need gas on the other side, you just get like a free 1,000 pulse.
Yeah, it's good. And that's community funded as well, isn't it? People are just donating pulse into it. I think
so.
RH was saying, yeah.
I'll put the link in the chat. We should probably say hello to the chat as well. So what is up, Red Squirrel? Oi oi, on his way to work. That's the way. He's saying oink oink.
DJ. Usually he says oi oi oi, so he's changed. Oh, he said that earlier.
It's oink. Okay.
There you go. Yaveen, what's up? What's up? Fast Abdul. There you go.
Look out.
Max made the faucet. There you go. Yeah, so Fast Abdul, I think, has got the 2 fucks protocol things going on.
Yeah, that's it.
There's lots of feelings to share as well. Oh, that's good.
He's been cooking, hasn't he? They've all been cooking. So
yeah. Actually, no, I was going to say, we don't care so much about feelings. I was going to say, we really care about your feelings. I'm like, actually, no, I don't. But I care about your protocol. And I'm interested in the double the yield or whatever it is. But I'm kind of over like people complaining about their feelings and how things make them feel these days. I see a lot of that in the media.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, that's just me.
How did you guys, any of you guys see the debate between, not that it was much of a debate, it was really seemed like a waste of time to me. Seemed like a bit of a waste of time to me, the Trump-Biden debate.
I haven't, but I've heard bad things. So
I was actually, to be honest, I thought that Biden was going to be a lot worse than he was, but it was pretty bad. But I just thought he was going to be, I didn't even think he would be able to string sentences together. But
I mean,
watch it live?
What's that?
Did you watch it live? 43?
Yes.
Okay. And did they do the censoring thing? Because that was the big hoopla before, that if Trump would touch certain topics, that they will cut off his mic. Did any of that actually happen, or?
They were very. It seemed like it was very structured in that they didn't speak over each other. They didn't have an opportunity to speak over each other. They were allocated certain slots, and they were told, "Oh, you have a minute, or you have another 60 seconds left." So they were just given their time. Look, it was. I think if you watch it, you're like, okay, well, Trump clearly has mental acuity, whereas I can't say the same for what I saw from Biden.
Right,
bro. Biden can't even walk upstairs. Like it's not a good sign.
Have you seen him try to ride a bike? It's pretty good.
That sounds dangerous.
Didn't you see that one where he pulled up and he just fell straight over?
Oh god,
no. Jeez, you do a hip at that age, far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, struggle to walk and chewing gum at the same time. So
I don't know
I don't know.
how he is going to be the candidate. Like, I don't know how they can put him forward as a candidate. I really don't. I don't see
Yeah.
how. I mean, everyone. I mean, I only watched about 5 minutes of the post debate review, and then I'm just like, this is nonsense. But everyone was just like, yeah, no, he can't. Like, he lost it. He easily lost it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I can't imagine him being the candidate for the Democrats. I just can't imagine him being the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot about American politics. So I'm not going to claim that I do. So yeah, but it just seems like he's got clear dementia and Alzheimer's. So, but I mean, maybe the guys that are pulling the strings are just framing it in a way that they can get the votes. But I hope Trump wins basically because I'm selfish, and I'm hoping that he's going to put some positive, crypto laws and things through.
Good for crypto.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's sort of, I guess it's out of my wheelhouse. One thing that I thought was interesting was that with Julian Assange being released in the week, that maybe that was an attempt to kind of undermine maybe some of Trump's sort of campaign things.
I had that thought too. To me, that's a clear. That was clearly what it was. Like they wanted to deprive Trump of a let's just say a victory on that front. Like when
a playing card. You can't play that card if it's already been played, right?
Exactly. So I guess whatever they offered Julian Assange, it's funny that they all of a sudden they offered him that, weeks after.
Exactly. He's been sort of whatever it is, 15 years trying to get at least a trial or to be sort of acquitted, and then all of a sudden now Trump is talking about Ross Ulbricht, getting him out on day one, the Silk Road guy, and all of this stuff. You're saying he's like pro Bitcoin and trying to get I guess the freedom voters and the sort of the crypto voters on side. And then Julian Assange, I remember that was one of the questions that was posed to him. What about Julian Assange? And he said that he was going to think about it and maybe speak to whoever. And then now Biden is sort of or whoever it is pulling the strings, has sort of played that card so that he can't play it, so that Trump can't play it later.
Right.
Which is great for us because I mean, he should have been let out ages ago. So either way, I kind of want them to fight over our vote. Our vote. I'm not voting in the US, but I kind of want them to do that, to try and pander to the crypto community, because that's the best case result, right?
I mean, it is crypto connected, right? We saw on Twitter that apparently some Bitcoin whale paid for his private flight, back from the UK to Australia. And I understood that the playoff is that certain information that was still on WikiLeaks as part of this trade-off had to be taken down, and they agreed to it. It's kind of censoring that. But we don't have all the details yet. I guess as the weeks progress, more of that will come out.
But that makes no difference taking it off WikiLeaks, because that information is out, right? So you can get that off torrent sites like your Pirate Bay or whatever. That information is there. So if he had to concede that, that's fine. The information's already been leaked, so he doesn't have to store it on his servers because it's already been out. And yeah, I mean, Assange was a hacker since early days, and WikiLeaks was getting paid in Bitcoin. Satoshi actually asked Assange to not accept Bitcoin back in the day because he thought it would bring too much heat to Bitcoin. So there's definitely strong ties with Bitcoin, and these guys were early crypto adopters because they were hacking encryption and stuff like that to leak this information. And it's kind of interesting because on one side of the coin, I don't agree with leaking, say, names of undercover agents and things like that. Or so if you've got people that are maybe translators or people that are in a war zone, active war zone, that are that happen to be from that country, and they're helping, US forces or things like that. So if their names get doxed, then their lives could be at risk. So I don't agree with like doxing people's names, like undercover people.
Mm.
But then
But I
there's
think
that
that
whole
that was part of the issue, wasn't it, all along? Because they were leaking stuff about the Iraq war while American soldiers' troops were still in active operation. So it's good in a way that the stuff, the shady things the government is doing behind everyone's back, that should be exposed. But there should be procedures around it so that you don't endanger any troops that are still in combat. I think that was kind of
that's the point, isn't it? So
there's
there's like an ethical line there where it's like, yes, you want to shed light on war crimes and things that where people are just, I mean, the helicopter incident the footage they released, I think they gunned down like 18 civilians. So it was like, that type of stuff. Yeah. That's a war crime. Like that's terrible. But there's not endangering anyone's name. So there is a line there. But it was interesting that there's this quote. I'm not sure if it's who it's attributed by. I think it might be Carl Sagan, but it's basically that, what can be destroyed by the truth deserves to be destroyed by the truth. And I was sort of like really like, it's made me think about it during the week about like, if the truth, if you say something that's true about something, then that's always a good thing. And if the thing that you're saying, a truth about is destroyed because of it, maybe it deserved to be destroyed anyway. But then there's that line where you can think of the exemptions where you're thinking, oh, well, hang on, what if you're putting people in danger? So there has to be some level. It can't just be, an absolutist kind of thing. You have to say, well, hang on, there are reasons. It's kind of like with free speech for me a little bit. Like I'm sort of all about free speech and everything, but I'm like, yeah, but if your free speech
freedom of speech, just watch what you say.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like as long as you're not inciting like hate crimes and violence and stuff like that, because there has to be a line where, hang on, if you're putting people's lives in danger by what you're saying, maybe there should be. Although then there's stops in place like ramifications. So that's that thing where if you have freedom of speech but not freedom of ramifications. So if you're going out there spewing hate crimes and stuff, then people have the right to then, there should be some consequence for that. But yeah, it's interesting thoughts. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I think it should be discussed. And interesting that we didn't hear anything about it on our media. Like I was looking on our local news site, and they're just talking about where the best chicken burger is made, and like some TV show. There's nothing.
Like the Assange situation. That was one. That was in Europe. That was all over the channels. Like everybody was broadcasting it. It was like really big breaking news. Yeah, I'm in Germany.
There was a really funny. I thought it was funny, entertaining clip of Tucker Carlson at some sort of press conference where he was answering some questions from Australian media.
That was embarrassing.
And they were just really trying so hard to get that gotcha type moment. But he's far too smart for that. I mean, he's a journalist himself. He knows all the tricks. So he just wasn't having any of it. And he really made them look quite silly. And by proxy makes Australians look silly as well. I mean, it makes us
Australian media. I would say Australian media, because it's like they don't represent us. Like those,
but they don't. But they give us but it gives us all a bad name. Like how awful they are.
I agree. Journalists in Australia, terrible. Our media is atrocious, and they've lost the concept of what journalism is meant to be, which is unbiased and questioning the narrative, questioning the asking for sources. So if the government comes out and says this and this, you say, well, okay, can you show us why you're making these decisions? Show us the science, show us the whatever, and then let the public decide. But it's meant to be unbiased. You can't just come out at someone and just be like, that lady that was saying that he was or inspiring a mass shooter or something like that. It's like, that's a pretty big stretch.
Yeah, you're tying a long bow right there.
Yeah,
if you're trying to link that.
Yeah, his example of like, well, you're wearing the same shoes as Hitler, like, or whatever. So, you know, it's like, that's kind of a loose connection that she was trying to make.
It was trying to really do the gotcha thing, you know, just to get a clip. But he handled it really, really well. It was very entertaining to watch. And I find that he's an entertaining journalist. I'm glad he parted ways with whatever media company
Fox,
he was
yeah.
with.
He was
because he just going off on his own is far better. It's
yeah.
You know,
I must admit, when I saw him on Fox, I sort of thought, oh, okay, you know, I just thought he was just towing the lines of thing. But ever since he's left, he's done some really interesting interviews with, you know, Putin and some of this stuff. So that's kind of what you want to see from a journalist, right? Like trying to get both sides of the story.
And he's actually in Australia at the moment. He's been doing a tour in Australia.
Yeah.
In the different cities. So I'm not sure where he still has to go, but I think he's got like one or two left.
Well, yeah, I think journalism, definitely in Australia, is just all-time low. And I liked this. This was a quote I saw from Julian Assange as well. What are the differences between Mark Zuckerberg and me? I give private information on corporations to you for free, and I'm the villain. Zuckerberg gives your private information to corporations for money, and he's man of the year.
Yeah.
So
100%.
That's really interesting, isn't it? It's like, hang on, he's sort of shedding light on things that some of these corporations and stuff are up to for the people, whereas some of these other guys are taking your private information and giving it to the corporations.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because during the week I watched a video on YouTube where someone was describing the next generation of computer hardware these NPUs, the neural processing units, which essentially could, if used by these big corporations like Microsoft and Apple, if they use this hardware in the way that it could be used, it could essentially just make end-to-end encryption obsolete, because it would give them the power to just see everything on, like, record everything that's going on. We'll just record everything that's going on your screen. So if you're typing on your screen, sending an encrypted message end to end, it could give them the ability to track that and know what's going on.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
So it just, and what I found interesting about this video is, like, they commented that, saying that we might get to a point where you really need an offline device to encrypt a message,
right,
before you send it across the internet. So it's been encrypted on an offline device, much almost similar, in a similar way to how you use a Trezor or a Ledger or a hardware wallet, where the sensitive information is kept offline, and you're only sending things that can't be can't really be decrypted, apart from someone on the other end with the the key.
And maybe some legacy hardware might be start to become more valuable as well, because they don't have these backdoors in there. So
let's go back to the Commodore 64.
That's right.
Still got mine in the basement.
More like the can and the string, like that. That's that's where we might end up.
If only.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just that new generation hardware is not out yet, so we can still use this current hardware that we've got. It's
right there. It's right there.
I know what you mean.
I don't know that all hardware doesn't. I think maybe some hardware already does have it. I mean, or it's slated to be coming out on new generations of iPhones, and I'm sure that this is going to be, that's going to be hardware that just becomes part, because that's not going to be the reason for that hardware. That's not going to be it's just going to be a way that hardware could potentially be used
for that.
Yeah. So I think
in a way that
so they're bringing out laptops and stuff with like AI, like Copilot, whatever, just integrated into the laptop, or so you don't have a choice almost. So
well, I don't think Apple's, or I think Windows and Apple's, I mean, really moving forward, I think people are going to have to make a choice. And the difficult thing about it is that if you're communicating with someone and your device is secure, like you need the other end to also be secure. Otherwise, it's not, like, none of it's secure. It needs to be end to end secure. It can't just be your end, because then if the other side is compromised, then that too, then that's all they need, really. That's all that's needed.
Yeah. G'day to PulseX here and Mango Junkie. The grumpy old man. Yeah, so it sounds like they were talking about the debate there. Yeah, so I mean, that's a little bit scary in terms of end-to-end encryption. I know, like WhatsApp, that's all owned by Facebook and that anyway, isn't it? So you kind of can't trust that at all.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely, because they have the keys. It's end-to-end encrypted. So they say end-to-end encrypted, but it's really, it's not. So the reason they say end-to-end encrypted is to give you a sense of confidence in you sending a message through their service. However, if they are able to, if they have the key, and then they are also working with governments or agencies, giving them access to whatever's being, then it's not really end-to-end encrypted. It's just it's really a joke of a system,
Yeah. Look, I'm afraid it's going to get worse. I'm concerned that
we're going to need those offline devices, and you're going to only be able to interact with people with those offline devices. It's going to.
You can't even buy a new computer without like signing into a Microsoft account. Like that's the very first thing it makes you do.
No.
And there are ways to get around to it. Yeah. I've figured out how to get around it. You have to not be. You got to go into the.
I'll just tell people the quick way of doing it. Right, when you sign in, when you load up your new Windows, don't be connected to the internet, and then you have to make a local account that asks you some questions, and then you just like that. That is how it. But it's not.
It's getting worse though. It's getting worse. Like every time at work the other day, we had a new laptop, and I was like, how do I get around this shit? And so I had to go into the command prompt and do some weird stuff, and I was like, all right, whatever I got to do, because I can't just be signing up to Microsoft accounts every time you get a new computer.
Or you get a Tangang phone.
Yeah, that's right. The Tang Talk. Call me on my Tang. The Tang Talk.
I mean, the question is that really going to solve the problem if the device has an MPU in it and it's being used? Like, does that, like, it's not going to solve the problem if your screenshots are being transmitted. That doesn't solve the problem, really, does it? So it's sort of like, like if Pegasus is being used against you, then it doesn't solve the problem, does it? It's like there's
that's different. That's a different kettle of fish, man. If you got Pegasus on
the only way around it is to have offline encryption, but that's a pain. Like who's gonna adopt that?
Yeah,
that's the thing, because convenience convenience is what people will always lean into convenience above security. Security is and we know that with crypto as well, don't we?
We know that with the hardware wallets. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Like if someone has the option of just having the software, the soft wallet in the browser, and having their keys stored there, for a lot of people that they would never consider getting a hardware wallet because it costs money and they're not cheap. And then also it's just a lot of extra hassle. It is a lot of extra hassle.
Yeah, but you're compromising your security because for convenience. Yeah, I guess that's the thing.
That's it. That's right.
So Linux is good. I think this sort of stuff pushes people towards Linux, but it won't stop the hardware chip sort of backdoors, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I think Linux is definitely.
I think the good thing about Linux is that it's less likely that in Linux these things will be activated just out of the box. Whereas you can absolutely expect Apple and Microsoft to activate all that stuff just straight out of the box. Like you would expect them to. That is just the normal state of affairs. And do you really trust it? Even if you go in and deactivate it, like how much do you trust that it is actually not doing something in the background anyway?
Yeah. I just wanted to do
it's going to make everyone paranoid about using their operating systems. That's what I've just done. Everyone's like going to be super paranoid.
At least get a hardware wallet, guys. Spend the 60 bucks. Get a hardware.
Yes, listen to DJ and Papa B.
Very important.
These guys know what's up. So, and look, using a dedicated laptop or PC, whatever, for your crypto and a hardware wallet as well, because I have seen some cases where, people downloading viruses and things like that. You can get your MetaMask like on screen stuff spoofed, and it can show you. It might say that you're sending, you're doing a swap or whatever. But then if you actually looked at your hardware device, it's actually draining your account. So the hardware device doesn't lie, but you can get software that can spoof the MetaMask thing. So I think using a dedicated laptop for crypto, if you're talking like large dollars as well, like I guess for some people, if they're just dealing with small amounts of money and they want to use a hot wallet or whatever, that's fine, but except that it could just be gone tomorrow. Like
be gone. And with Hex, we always said this in the beginning, it may only be $100 now, but what at the top of the next bull
that's
run,
a good point.
we'll be looking at a serious X on that amount. So even if it's just few, we always advise, ideally go the longer route with a separate laptop even, but at least get a hardware wallet. It gives you
or both, I think is the key.
Good advantage of protection, a good step ahead versus all these scammers, especially when you're dealing with crypto. You are in these weird Telegram groups about various coins and meme coins sometimes, and everybody's out there to get you. Even if you're dealing with services, I had this ones where I had a transaction stuck on I was using the global, what's it called, global X swap from Power City Portal.
PulseX,
PulseX, that one, because where you can do cross-chain swaps, and it didn't go through. It got stuck. It wasn't a big amount, but still, it was annoyed that it got stuck. And then I had to go into these various support groups that are actually facilitating these transaction, and I said, "Hey, I've got a thing stuck. Is there any way that this can be sorted?" And I immediately after just posting that message, I had like 10, 12 DMs from scammers in my thing saying, "Hey, I'm
just
the
click this
admin.
link. Just click this link.
Just click this link. How can I help you?" So me being in this whole thing, I know, you guys, that's fuck you. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
This is all fake and scam. But if you're a new person to this,
that's why
you would fall right for the trap.
I've got
very dangerous.
It is very dangerous. I've got a good one from Telegram when Hedron was sort of at its peak of the the cycle type thing just recently. I posted like a question on there about the ICOSA stuff, and then within a minute I got a phone call from Alex McWhiter on
Alex.
Telegram.
I
And it's like, yeah, okay. Like he's
got
calling,
messages from Alex. I
Yeah.
never got a phone call. That's next level.
yeah, like as in a Telegram call. And then the
Right,
next
right.
the next time, the same thing
You
happened.
need to change your
Disable
settings,
that
man.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no one should be
Well,
able to contact you.
That's what
you
I
can make
thought.
it so you can't get
yeah.
phone calls from people that
There we
aren't
go.
in your.
On
You
your
should
list.
just make it
books.
nobody can contact
no
you,
one
not
has
even your
access.
contacts. Not
That's
even
what
your
I thought I
contacts.
had as a setting. The same thing happened with PHUX as well. Buck was ringing, and it's like,
Wow.
Yeah,
I
how
remember getting
creative is that though?
I'll
How creative
double-check.
is that? To
it
get
is.
your
I'll double
keys?
check the settings, but
Yeah.
scary
Yeah.
stuff.
And there's things you can do. You shouldn't allow yourself to be added to groups by anyone, because if you're added to a group, you might just be thinking, oh, I'm in the Hedron group. It might not even be that. And then you're looking at pinned messages thinking they're safe. So yeah, there's a few things like that. Definitely check your WhatsApp, check your Telegram, make sure you can't be phone calls and things like that.
Don't click links.
Don't click links. Yeah, just don't do it.
Click links at all.
Right.
Like, do not click links.
I was just about to say.
No, let me
Go
tell
ahead,
you.
yeah.
I'll tell you what. This is like, this seems paranoid, but this is how I deal with something that I feel like I have to click. If I have to click, like, I need to find out whether this is. I will spin up a virtual machine.
I remember that. Yeah.
And
Like a
click a
sandbox.
link in a virtual machine, so that if I can just like blow everything up at the end and just just to see.
Yeah.
You know.
Or the best way to do it is just delete that shit. And then if it's important, they'll send it back to you, right? Like,
Yeah, they come back.
so when someone will send me some attachment or whatever, I'm just like, scam. And then, if, God forbid, I deleted someone's email that was like a legit document, they would just literally call me or send it again and say, what's up? You didn't answer my email. And I'll be like, I thought it was a scam. So it's no harm, no foul. Just default.
It's not
just deleting that stuff.
It's not just links. It's any document. Like any document.
docx or PDF, just
Any
don't
file.
open them.
Any
Don't do it.
file.
Which
the
actually
file
brings me.
the file might actually not be that file. It might just be it. Like, you can change. One of the most creative things that I've seen is that in order to make the file name seem like it was a legit file name, they actually used Arabic, like an Arabic way. So it's reversed. So the name of it was actually exe dot the name, but because it was back to front, because they go from right to left, it looked like an exe file, but it had a payload in it. It was a very, very creative way to trick an unsuspecting person. So you just don't trust anything.
You can change file extensions and things like that pretty easily. So yeah, you could be thinking you're downloading something, but you're actually downloading something else. So yeah, this brings me to my point that I was going to make. Solana have just introduced a thing called blinks, which are blockchain links. So you can click on a link and it connects to your wallet and it does a blockchain transaction. So as if you weren't getting rugged hard enough on Solana, they've just added this extra way for you to get completely rugged. So, it's a legit thing and it kind of looks cool. Like, you're like, oh, wow, I can just click this JPEG for 200 Sol for some reason. And then so you can embed these links in anything. So yeah, just be really careful of this sort of stuff. I think maybe once we see how this plays out, which I think we know how it's going to play out, a bunch of people are going to get wrecked. It might be something that we can someone might incorporate onto PulseChain. But yeah, I'm sort of heading into a bull market. I'm just not clicking links. I'm just not doing that. So
look,
I think
I've taken family members to doctors where at the end they don't rather than pay, what they do is they will send you a text message with a link that you're supposed to click on and then go and do all that stuff. And I just like whenever it's something like that, I always say to them, I don't click links. So whatever the traditional way of doing it is, like if there's a bit of paper I can sign, I'll just give me the bit of paper, I'll sign it on the spot. I know that's legit because you're here. But I just don't click links. It's just a bad habit to be in.
Yeah. Speaking of not clicking links, here's some links that you can click. So Ben Sierra has got the Liquid Hex front end. So he's updated this front end. So if anyone cares about that Liquid Hex thing, you could have some free money. By the way,
everyone who's a hexagon, right, and has got stakes and has not had the fortune of being able to sell much hex, and has just been like a good hexagon who's staked long, and you have like airdrop. You've got airdrops, right? Because I don't see many people talking about L hex in the hex community, which is interesting to me. That's interesting to me.
That's very quiet.
Right? Because if people
VES'd.
Either they've VES or they've taken. I think if you've taken more than $50,000 worth of profits. And by the way, I'm not shaming those. I'm not shaming those people. I'm just saying it's very the silence. No, because people need to be able to sell whatever. Like you need to be able to sell whatever you want when you want. That's the whole point of crypto, right? But their silence is very loud. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that no one has spoken about it, it's very loud to me, and it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, look, I think it's great. People have got a lot of hex stakes out there, and then you're getting this L hex. So now there's an easy front end. You don't have to do as much. So why not? I think he's doing something positive for the community.
It was a bit of I think it was tough for people who weren't a little bit technical. It was tough for them to, claim that stuff. I think now it's much easier because there is a front end, but you don't need to use the front end. I think the instructions are pretty straightforward, but if you're not technically like, if you don't like using command line stuff, then you can just use the front end. And now everything's just like,
you just connect to it with your minimum, and it just all stakes appear.
Yeah, everything just populates automatically when you click it. And the guys in B9, which Papa Bone is a part of, Papa B is a part of. One of the guys in there had a look at it, and he said, look, from what I can see, it all seems pretty straightforward. It doesn't seem, nothing seems malicious. He did say that like there is a chance that, but that was, but he basically said, look, from what I can see, this looks very, very straightforward. And having seen Ben Sierra in the community for years and seen some of the other things that he's done in the community, I think that if he was trying to scam, then I think that he wouldn't have gone about it this way.
Look, people are building on Hex, and I think it's a good thing. There's the com stuff that's out there. There's a few other things. So, and I mean, even if you think about it, like Hedron, when it first came out, people were a bit, sketchy, but that's paid out a lot for a lot of people. And then, we've also got the Maximus staking pools, things like that. There's a lot of stuff being built on Hex and has been built on Hex, and I think will continue to be built on Hex. I had an idea the other day where I was thinking, maybe someone could come up with a contract that actually creates like a staking ladder, and then just maybe as each stake expires, then it could pay out the yield automatically as like a dividend, and then just restake the principal. And you could have that like a contract that just does the whole ladder, it does the whole thing, and just pays you out that dividend however often. And you could set those parameters. So
I like the idea. I like the idea of, and I don't think anyone's done this specifically, but I like the idea of a 5555 airdrop. I like the idea of a 5555 airdrop, and maybe
if you do
not
a
maybe
Quattro Cinco,
yeah, but maybe
airdrop.
not. Maybe you don't get it all. Maybe
Well,
you only
Com
get
kind of does that. Com kind of does that.
Yeah, but I'd like something really simple, like a 555 airdrop, where you get, like, you can claim half of it now, and then the other half, maybe closer to the end.
Yeah, I think that's the idea with Com, is that if you get that sort of
but it
that
should be
voucher.
worth something too. Like with Com, that's just so crazy. Like I'm a Com gazillionaire. Like I've got gazillions of that shit.
That's right.
You
It's not even
are
a
you a
trillionaire,
quad-
it's a quadrillionaire.
I think they call them a quad father.
A
If you're
quad
in
father.
Com.
Quad father.
A
That's
quad
right.
father in Com.
Oh my god.
Even Com's gone a bit quiet, hasn't it? So I don't know what's going on there, but there was a bit of hype around it. And
secret weapon, eh?
I mean, who knows what it can do in the future, and if it gets some sort of backing to get the price or the ratio up a bit. But and in that case, it would be great with a Quattro Cinco stake. You'd be able to get a lot back for it. But at the moment, definitely not.
This discussion is reminding me. It is. I agree. It's it's price matters, but everything in the RH ecosystem is down, right? But one of the best things I saw this week was looking to hex.com has redone their website.
Yeah,
can we go there?
Good.
Because there is one.
I've got it here.
There is one particular graph. I think I posted it in the. It's the USD liquid. The liquid holders in USD.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting.
PHEX?
PHEX, liquid holders in USD.
Hex holders by USD. I think this is the one. It's just not loading for some reason. But
do you just need to click down the bottom? Some of those. Oh, there you go.
I had the liquid EHEX.
Yeah, shout out to Gerardo. That looks really nice.
Yeah, it's working really well. No, I did though. I did see it earlier. He's putting in some work for sure.
It might need some time.
Yeah, maybe we'll just give it a second. So yeah, that's so there are lots of builders doing things. This
but that was interesting because if you look at how many holders there are, liquid holders of Hex, Hex on PulseChain.
This is basically the same thing. This has got PHEX by amount. So majority of people have less.
But there's not that much. Like
less than 1,000 hex, and then 50,000 people have less than 10,000 hex. 35,000 people have less than 100,000 hex. 12,000 people have less than 1 million. And then it's like above 1 million, it's only 2,000, above 10 million, 2,000, 100 million, 660, above 1 billion, there's only 2. So that's probably like OA. Above 1 billion.
Poseidon. Or the OA.
That's the OA, I'm guessing. But yeah, for some reason it doesn't happen in dollars. But
the US dollar one was very interesting because it shows you the range. It says between this price and this amount in dollars and this amount in dollars. And it was surprising to me because I didn't realize there's so few people with much money left in Hex. I mean, there's not that many people left on that higher end. Obviously prices are down a lot. But if you look at it, you're just like, well, okay, well, just looking at this, it doesn't seem like there's that many people that could like that. You know, if they haven't already sold now, it doesn't seem like there's that many people that can continue selling. Having said that, I feel like I've said that before, you know?
Yeah. And look, Hex holders per day, PHEX holders per day. Look, it is dropping off. So look, but this is what we're seeing. That we're saying because the price is so wrecked, people are, it's natural that it's going to go down, but they don't understand that this is actually the best time to buy. Like when the price is at the highest is when we'll have the most new holders, and they're the ones
even
that will...
staked, like what, there are 900 sharks and dolphins, or 850 some, or 940.
But
what
new
is that?
stakes,
900 people on this whole planet, so that shouldn't be a serious threat for the price going
Sorry,
forward.
I misspoke. It's 940 T-shares to be a dolphin, 9,400 T-shares to be a shark.
Around the 10,000. No, it's 10,000 to be a dolphin.
No, it's less. It's like, because it's a percentage. It's a percentage of the total amount of T-shares. So I think to be a shark, it's 0.1% of all the T-shares in existence. And then to be a dolphin, it's 0.01% of all T-shares. So I think at the moment, the total amount of T-shares is it's 940 something. I'm not sure if it's 940 trillion. No, it's 940 quadrillion or some crazy number like that. Some crazy number.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's a pretty cool site. Like there's heaps of stuff. I was just going through it now, and it's pretty awesome. Except for that one graph that's fully not loading for us. But yeah, I'm sure it'll come good like in the next hour or so. But yeah, check it out. Adoption, and then hex holders by USD. And you can just go liquid p hex. But yeah, it's basically the same as this one here, where you've got the total hex holders by amount. But yeah, that's pretty cool. There's also been some cool stuff I noticed. So Pulse Coin List, like I said before, had that the buy page. They've also got the community page going here. So this is all the Tangang tickers. So I thought that was pretty cool. They had that all in one place.
Just one page, is it?
Yeah, so you just go up to ecosystem.
There'd be 2 or 3 Tangang pages of tickers. The way they're building.
Right. They got a few. They got a few. And now they've just launched 9mm on base as well. So now they're sort of going cross-chain. So I think they've got the wrapped HOA on base, and they've got 9mm. So you can actually do liquidity providing and stuff on base now through 9mm. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that's going to bring people across. I mean, we don't know with this sort of stuff how effective it is, but it shows that people are building, at least. Like there's all sorts of tools. I was using this one the other day. This is the permanent loss calculator. I think the Maximus DAO guys made this one, which is pretty cool because, like, if you're looking at, say, the wrapped ETH PLS pool or something like that, and you're sort of thinking, oh, well, hang on, if I'm in this pool and then ETH goes up because of the Ethereum ETF, then I'm going to get wrecked in terms of, impermanent loss. So say the pulse price, whatever, 4045, and then the ETH, that's 10 missing. Say the ETH goes up to, let's say it goes up by $1,000, like to 4,500, right? So you think, oh no, if I'm in this pool, I'm earning ink, but I'm going to get wrecked because of impermanent loss. 0.78% is the loss. It's not as high as you think. So a lot of people are kind of thinking, oh, well, yeah, if you do like a 2x and a 5x and this and that, then yeah, you're going to be missing out. Yeah, well, maybe when we start getting 5x's, we'll start worrying about it. But until then, like maybe just accept 0.7% of impermanent loss, and you can be earning ink like in the background. Like, exactly. And it doesn't even anyway. I just think, yeah, the impermanent loss calculator is pretty cool. So there's a few. I'll put that in the chat as well. There's a few
so
tools.
It said there, if you had $1,000 of each, it'd only be $20 of impermanent loss, basically.
Yeah.
And how many ink is that at the moment? That's like 10 ink or something. And you could make that pretty quickly.
You'll be
not
making
with
more,
I guess.
well, yeah, it depends, but you earn pretty decent ink in those farms. It's like 40%, and then you can also put that ink into another farm. So you can put your ink into a Pulse farm, and that would have even less impermanent loss, because ink and Pulse are probably more likely to track together, and that I think has pretty good APR as well.
Yeah.
And then also, because you're compounding it, so you're earning ink, say, in the wrapped ETH, wrapped Pulse pool, and then you're using what you've earned to then put into another pool to earn more ink. And then, so, plus you're also hedging that, or sort of betting, I guess, that the price of ink could also do a 20x or something as well. So then it might be worth a lot more than you think. So yeah, I still think the PulseX farms are pretty juicy. Like I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, but I think maybe as the bull market continues and the price of ink goes up, they're going to have to add more farms, or they're going to have to drop the farm multipliers, because it'll be way too juicy. Like it's unsustainable if the prices do, a 20x to be getting this kind of yield in ink. So I think maybe when they add more farms, then the APR will drop.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as the price goes up, it has to, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, either that, or we keep getting lots of ink, but then the price of ink just drops, or it doesn't move.
Well, either that or the price of ink doesn't go up as much as we think, but we've seen it go up pretty hard.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Wasn't that a bit of an issue when PulseChain finally launched, that it was kind of going against the ethos of Hex a bit in the beginning, that on some of these farms you had like an APR of 500 or 600%, and people were thinking, why should I be staking Hex when I can just be farming and be totally flexible? I can farm today, I cannot farm tomorrow. It's not like this locked up thing where you commit yourself to the Quattro Cinco. And I'm still in that camp. I think.
Oh, that's fair enough.
The delayed gratification over years, I think that is still the best invention that was ever made in crypto. So I don't know how we will going forward have
I think there's a place for both,
aligned, that they don't hurt each other.
I don't think they hurt each other. I think they're not mutually exclusive. I think people can hold Hex liquid, they can stake it, they can use the farms, all this sort of stuff. I don't think it's kind of like saying, what's better, an action movie or a comedy movie. It's like, well, you can't really compare them. If you're in the mood for comedy, then you want to watch a comedy. Like if you want to watch an action movie, then that's fun. One's not better than the other. They're just different. So.
You and I are of a different ilk, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about True Blue. True Blue. I'm
the odd man out here. Which one?
I'm not sure. I can't speak for True Blue, but I know DJ. You and I, mate, we're of a certain ilk.
We're the dinosaurs here.
I don't know, man. It's yet to be seen.
Keep getting 11 hex. Sorry, man.
No, you go.
Yeah. If we keep getting 11 hex per T-share payouts like we did again just the other day, what you're farming isn't going to matter too much if you're accumulating a lot when everyone's end staking to then go over and farm. It's going to get diluted.
True Blue, it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up.
That's a fact.
It's like the only way it's going to go down, the only way it could possibly go down is if the OA starts staking.
Yeah, that's the only way.
That's the only way it's going to go down. Otherwise, it's going to keep going up.
Yeah,
it's going to keep going up. It's just the maths. The maths is
great. Like I didn't expect us to be at this point, permanent above 7 hex a day per T-share. That came very quick.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 10 in another
10 soon.
3 or 4 years.
Absolutely.
3 or 4 years, it's going to be it's going to go up because because it's the way it's worked out. I mean, it's not a linear increase.
Yeah.
Over the long term, it's going to go up more and more and more. It's like it's You know, that's where you get that's the compounding effect. How that goes up is the compounding effect of the payout over the long term. And you don't see it if it's a short-term staking, you don't see it. You only see it in the long-term stakes. You can only experience the benefit of it over the long term.
That's it. You know, a lot of the streamers that are getting, you know, Hex or, you know, PulseChain streamers that are probably getting more views than us. What I've noticed this week is most of them are talking about the buying opportunity with PulseX and Pulse. So I don't know if people are being quiet on Hex just because they're not interested in it, or if it's because they're buying it. But yeah, there's a lot less talk about the opportunity in Hex at the moment, and everyone's saying, oh, it's, you know, looking like a bottom in PLS and a better buying opportunity in PLSX. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people in like I am not throwing shade at anyone out there, because everyone, you know, I truly believe that this stuff is about you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I think it really is about that. So if someone, you know, likes the idea of buying Hex, but not staking it because they don't like the idea of staking it, well, you know, that's you. That's the way you want to do it. If you, but I wholeheartedly believe that it's a great system. It's like a really, really good system for the long term. You know, now I've been saying that for years, and really it's only good for the long term if we come back up in price. You know, that it's only, you can only say it's good for the long term if the price comes back at some point.
But there's a couple of tweets. So Richard,
I think it will.
Richard recently had been tweeting a little bit and sort of saying, well, Ethereum and Bitcoin had gone down 95% in their history.
Nobody hates on it.
Yeah, and he was sort of saying, you know, Ethereum's gone down quite a lot of times. You know, obviously EHEX went down heaps times, you know, over its run. I mean, maybe not to the extent in terms of, you know, only 80% instead of 99%, and certainly not the duration. So this is obviously not just a dip. This is just it's like we're in a bear market, like we're out of phase with like maybe some of the other bears and things. But Pulse is only like 2x away from SAC. Like that's nothing. Like that's people will stop crying once it gets above that. Hex has got the lowest liquidity, so it's going to have the most volatility. So it's going to go down the most and probably go up possibly the highest. So it has that. It looks bad now, but it could also look really good in the future. And I think it's bullish that RH was kind of saying that, you know, Pulse is down whatever 80% or 79% or something, because he cares about the chart. Like he's like invested in the glory of it, and he's saying, but he also wants to be able to point to that later and say, I told you it was down 80%. That was your opportunity. I tweeted about it, and now watch me flex on this chart. So if he didn't think that it was going to go up, he wouldn't be pointing that shit out.
So many
We've been
people
saying that on the What the Heck show the other week, that the floor is lava has always been his favorite meme. So I think he's dying to getting back to be able to post, you know, when everything tanks and one of the RH tickers is a big fat green. I think that's
going to stand
when you
out.
will see him triumphing and dancing. Yeah.
I think can you imagine, like, you know, if we get over, you know, and obviously as a strategy there is risk in this, but if the crypto market was to take profits and put them into the RH ecosystem, you know, let's just make a fantasy world where that happens, right?
Yeah, I think that's the
and then RH ecosystem, all the tickers start getting green candles.
Well, that's the rotation. That's the capital flow, right? Where you have the capital flow from Bitcoin into Ethereum into altcoins. That's sort of how it kind of works. And that's how you know it's alt season, when you actually look at those metrics on chain and you can see the capital flow going in that direction, which it hasn't been going.
I mean, I mentioned this last week, but and I've mentioned it before, but and DJ, I'm sure you'll back me up on this. There are a lot of people crying about not being able to afford T-shares because they were so expensive in 2021.
Yes,
a lot of people
we're at
crying and moaning.
$10,000 per T-share
Yes,
at one point.
Very, like, a lot of people crying about that. So if you were crying in 2021 about that, about not having the T-shares,
yep,
you shouldn't be crying right now. You should be laughing. You should be happy. You should be just,
But where are those people? There were loads of them.
There were loads of them.
They're out getting wrecked on Solana rug coins.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. People, it's market sentiment. So, if people think that the price is going to go down, then they think, well, if I sell, then I'm going to be able to buy back more token units at a lower price. And then, so if they think it's going to go down, then they sell. It actually makes it go down. It's like that sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like the sentiment actually does affect the chart. Once people start to think it's going to go up, then they'll start buying, and then it will go up. So, yeah, I kind of think of it like it's one of those, almost like with like physics and things like that. You have like Heisenberg's uncertainty. You can't measure the position of something without affecting its momentum, or you can't measure the spin state of one entangled photon without affecting the other one. It's like once people start to think that it's going to go up, that's when they start buying. And the problem at the moment is that too many people have been selling because they think it's going down. So it's just that self-fulfilling kind of feedback loop.
But 43, isn't it a bit frustrating that, we've been streaming for years about this stuff, and RH has been tweeting for years about this stuff. Like, there is so much information and knowledge being shared about hacks and the mechanisms, backed up by Richard and his expertise, and then us on these various channels going into even more detail. And I find it and other communities don't do that. They don't have that, nothing like that. And I find it a bit frustrating that still, it seems, looking at the chart, the majority of people are like, yeah, but whatever. Like, they're not really following, the stuff that's proven. So I find that very frustrating.
It's interesting because look, I don't understand markets enough, but there's a part of me that thinks, well, there's a part of me that believes that surely if there's less people that are that are able to sell the price down of a particular asset, then it's more likely that asset can pump. Like there's I believe that, but at the same time, I know that people have to buy it for it to pump. So I don't quite like understand markets like the way they work enough to reconcile those two things. But I think that, like, just going off that chart that we weren't able to get up before, that look into Hex chart, which for some reason seems to have disappeared, but I did post it somewhere. That I'm not sure if you can get that graphic that I posted in that chat, Dozer, but there was.
Have a look.
Yeah, it was it was very telling to me that oh, really, there's only that many people with that much money, liquid Hex. Is that it? Like, there's not many. That's not much.
Yeah. And I mean, we've got the Ethereum ETF potentially going live next week, like next Wednesday.
Yes, July 2nd, yes.
July 2nd. So, like,
and also Australia, the Bitcoin, you have additional Bitcoin.
We do. We have a spot
now, I think.
Yeah, VanEck.
And they seem to be doing very well at the moment. That was in the news.
Yeah, so the Australian VanEck spot BTC ETF has begun trading on the ASX. So unfortunately, no super funds have sort of taken that on, but yeah, you can.
Could be.
If you did self-managed super funds, that's an option as well. But yeah, I mean, it basically comes down to price. Like, the good thing is we have the community. So one thing I've noticed with all these meme coins, say on Solana, call them what you want, they don't have the community. They just have, initial price. Like, they have these jeets that come in, the sniper bots, they pump the price up and just immediately dump, and then it's just down forever. Like, it's just so, having just the price is not enough. You need to have that community as well. So I think that's one thing that Hexicans have got going for us. We're massive, and all we need is that price to come up. People will come back to Twitter and they'll start dunking on people and all that sort of stuff. So it's all there. It just, all you need is the price. So, and Heart's
Yeah,
Law,
I get
once
I
it
get the
starts going
feeling
up,
that
it'll all be back. I'm pretty confident about that.
I get the feeling that there's a lot of people out there that would prefer to buy Hex at 3 cents.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, it's human nature, man.
Yeah.
Human nature.
They buy
Like,
when it's expensive.
Because think about the mental gymnastics that will go on there. It's going to be, okay, well, at 3 cents, they've confirmed in their mind at least an upward trajectory, right? So they've thought, okay, well, this is going up, but we're still so far away from 56 cents.
Yeah.
So so they're going to be like, well, maybe I'll forego some of the X's that I would have got, but then I will have confirmed the uptrend.
Yes.
You
Wait
know?
for momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people do that, We've got 91 viewers, it seems.
Awesome.
67 on X and 24 on YouTube. So shout out to everyone
Smash the likes,
who's
guys.
here.
Smash the likes.
Yeah,
we need
smash
the
the
likes.
likes.
We need the algorithm to
That's right.
acknowledge.
Good for the algo.
Look, there's 91 people out there that are interested, and so I think
Comment.
share it, comment, any put kangaroos in the chat, whatever you
In
can.
the chat, do you like big boobs? Yes or no?
That's right. And
Where's Sammy Chica?
exactly. Come on, Sammy, for the boys.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
yeah, there's a few other things I was going to say. Is so a lot of people are kind of talking about the Solana ETF that has just been announced as well. So, but I don't know. When I was looking at the charts last week, I'd have to have another look in a sec. But it looked to me that Solana had topped, and certainly the Sol ETH ratio was looking pretty bad, and I had broken the 20 moving average, 20 week, and things like that. So it might be that some of these things are going to start to rotate. Like you might have certain sectors have bubbles. So there might have been a GameFi bubble, an AI bubble. There's a Solana bubble, and then now they're all talking about Solana ETFs. That just might provide the exit liquidity for those guys to get out, rotate into ETH, trying to get the next, the actual trading ETF before that takes off. So yeah, I think there's a lot of rotation.
I was observing a little bit on Solana. I was observing the Iggy Azalea meme coin, how that how she did the marketing there.
So they're all down.
Yeah, they're down now, but the way she was able to grab everyone's attention fairly quick by, being constantly out there tweeting. She has like 3 million followers on her X.
That is a lot. Yeah,
and that it is. And then she had but that's all her fans from the music too. Like It's not really all crypto people.
No.
And then she was on the Wall Street having an appearance at the CNBC.
That's right.
So
yeah.
that kind of looking at that and what it can do to the price. I think, people keep saying we are decentralized here and we do the marketing. We don't need Richard Hart. I think we need Richard Hart. Just compared to that, if he would go on CNBC, if he would speak at crypto conferences like that, if he would tweet more, we could see a similar result, and then people would follow back in, and we'd have the green candles. He needs to give it that initial spark, that initial, that's what's needed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate, 100%. Look, in some regard, people just see Richard Hart as a meme, as just the twerking, wearing the Gucci, all this sort of stuff. But
the twerking peacock.
Yeah, the peacock, and that's fine. Like that was what he was trying to do, right? It was to create this sort of, the memetic value of that. But I think his real value is when you listen to him talk and you listen to his ideas and you listen to how much he knows about all this, about liquidity and all this sort of stuff. That's the real value.
Yes.
And the other thing I was going to say about Solana is I think there was some speculation that a lot of their volume is completely fake as well. So
of course it is.
There's just a bunch of accounts that are just manipulating and spoofing data. So they were saying 90% of the volume is fake because the same 3 to 4 addresses spamming and canceling orders which are never fulfilled. So that's interesting to think that maybe some of these metrics on like volume and things like that might just be completely fake. So
of course
I mean, I
but
don't
that
know.
news about the ETF made it pump 10% in a day during somewhat of a downtrend right now. So, it's powerful when you have
it's
the
almost
right
as
news
if
out
they
there.
saw that it maybe had topped. The guy had written Solana tattooed on his head, and they're just like, "It's all over. We need something
Top
else."
signal.
Yeah, that was the biggest top for me. I was like, "It's over."
It's interesting because for Solana, no one cares. Like no one cares if that they're just it's like wash type trading. Like it's just numbers being pushed around. No one cares.
If the chain goes down,
if that was,
they don't care.
However, if any of that shit happened to PulseChain, it would be like such negative news. So there's no consistency in arguments out there when it comes to this ecosystem. But this is what you're showing right now. That was from day 408 for PulseChain. Hex, liquid hex. Only 18 liquid hex holders with $1 to $10 million worth of liquid hex. That's 18. I mean,
that's dollars worth. Okay,
that's dollars worth. Like, and there's only 2,949.
Right.
Like this was on day 408. I'm not sure what it is now because we couldn't get it up. But
it's pretty close.
We couldn't get the chart up. But from this is like 2,949 holders with only between like $101 million.
Not a lot. It's not a lot. No.
Doesn't seem like a lot to me.
Small
like
numbers. No, it's not.
Only 18 with 1 million to 10 million. Only 18. Like that doesn't seem.
And how about this number here? This is concerning. Only like 1,200 people have got over 10 grand, but less than 100 grand. I'm thinking, and there's actually less. There's more people that have over 100 grand than the people who have, between 10 and 100. So, look, it is
There's
interesting.
A really good
I think those
opportunity.
numbers are lower than what we thought, for sure.
There's a really good opportunity to be in that yellow, in that 10K to 100K zone. I think because if you look at the bell curve, it doesn't really follow the bell curve. Like you would expect this to be a bell curve type situation, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like 1 million hex was like 5 grand or something like that. So, to be 10K, that's like 2 million hex. So, I mean, that's, 2 million hex. I mean, it depends on everyone's different.
And say someone wants to stake for 10 years, like, and I'll say this here because, it's just us guys. We know. And I don't particularly like saying anything about like buy other tokens or whatever, but I'm going to say this because I think it is a legit thing to say for anyone who is long-term minded and wants T-shares. You can get P-Deci, which is 8.5 years away.
Oh, yes.
And it is at a 40, like it is cheaper. It's like you get more T-shares than if you were to stake for 10 years, the same amount of hex. Right. So as much as I want people to stake hex, yes. But let's be honest, if you can get more T-shares by that redemption token, then that is worth me mentioning. It does take away buy and it does take away buy pressure from Hex. You know,
but 45% discount though. Yeah,
that's very juicy at the moment. Yeah.
So if you go to the website, look into maxi.com, there's actually the number. I think it's 6,814 hex is a T-share's worth. If you swap 6,814, you'll get one T-share.
That's a good rate, isn't it? Is there a way on this site to see how many DESI are actually for sale?
You'd have to go to Pateus. I think there's like 6 million something for sale. So the more so if you're, but just think about it, 6,814 hex will get you one T-share. So
I actually like the idea of if you do have stakes coming out and you're thinking, well, you can restake it, or you can take the yield or whatever, but the price is so low, maybe it's not worth selling. Maybe that's when you put it into PDESI or something like that as well. So
at the end of there's a question in the chat. What happens at the end of DESI? You just have to. You've got a week. At the end of DESI, you've got a week to claim the end of the stake.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't cost as much as there's a Ethereum version. It doesn't cost it's not like an end stake cost. And someone will have to pay that end stake cost, but there'll probably be a pool contract to pay the end stake cost. And you do get the hex. You get the actual hex in your wallet at the end of that because it's a redemption token. It's not
only 8.4 years left on that, by the way, that DESI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
so
you
can
have
either
to
mint it back, otherwise it'll be restaked for that next 15 years type thing.
And this, I think it's important to mention this. You have to balance that with the fact that a lot of DESI, a lot of hex is going to be minted out of that stake for a lot of other people. So there's no doubt in my mind that event will be there'll be sell pressure at that time.
Sure.
There's no doubt in my mind. But it could also be the case that a lot of DESI just gets automatically restaked for another 10 years. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure not everyone's going to be on the ball and know when that ends, and some people might miss it.
Yeah, so, I'm really excited about getting to the end of the DESI stake. I still bring it up on the on the app and stuff, and it's man, not counting it day by day almost, but it's watching the progress bar on that go across. It's going to be a pretty cool thing getting to the end of that. Seeing what sort of yield there is just going to be huge.
Yeah, but the dollar, how much you can get a T-share for through DESI is so much cheaper. It's significantly cheaper than staking hex. I hate to say it, but if you want T-shares, then you're, in my mind, and you're willing to wait 8.5 years, I reckon you're a good guy and you deserve to know this information. But do your thing, do your own, you got to do what's good for you.
Yeah. We've got over 100 viewers at the moment, so shout out to them and shout out to Hugh Exican.
And shout out to DJ Cryptomatic for may or may not have bringing them here.
Exactly. Yes. Wall to wall is even cheery today, so that's awesome. Good to see you. And Hex Clips, g'day. So we've got a few people here, that's for sure. Was there anything else you guys? I was going to chat about this indicator that I saw during the week. So have you guys heard of the Pi Cycle top indicator? So this is for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So it uses a 111-day moving average and a 2x multiple on the 350-day moving average. But I've heard people talk about this before. And so these are where the 111-day moving average crosses over the 350-day, where they cross over is this Pi Cycle top indicator. And so if you look at where they've crossed over, it's it's basically nailed the Bitcoin top within like, I think, a few days.
Yeah.
And it nailed the first top. So you know how there was a double top with Bitcoin last cycle. But yeah, so they're still pretty far apart. So I have heard some people kind of saying, you know, saying some FUD about, you know, that it's all over and it's all going down and things like that. But there are things like that you can look at that just sort of, and total 2 is still way below where it was. And even if you look at diminishing returns, even if it got like a 2x on last cycle, total 2 should hit about 3 trillion. So yeah, there's things like that, the part cycle top indicator and total 2 that kind of make me bullish that we've still got a long way to go with this cycle.
Yeah, we're only getting started, I believe. Like, we've seen nothing yet. I think there's definitely a 2 or even a 3x is possible to the Bitcoin price going forward. No financial advice, but I think the real stuff will happen next year. I think all this summer I see it as still sideways action, you know, a bit up, a bit down, but not crazy down, unless some crazy black swan, of course, happens, which you can never be certain. Then we've got the American elections in the fall, which might change things around, and then sort of we might go into a Santa Claus rally. That's really how I'm looking at this year, and then the big stuff will happen all next year. Yeah, it's kind of my outlook on things.
The hash price as well is another thing you can look at.
Yeah, the price hash rate follows price, or the other way around, and that's also a bit on a downtrend at the moment.
It's really low. Yeah, it's really low, and because of the mining rewards have been halved for BTC miners, then the cost of so whatever this is in terms of terahash per day per dollar, so these are kind of indicators as well as to where you are in the cycle.
But if you zoom out on that for like the 1 year or the 5 year,
so
and it's still crazy compared to where it was.
So go out to the 5 year,
the last cycle. Yeah, I had another chart where
so that's interesting because that's
actually different metric here. That's a different. I think CoinDance is the site that I just looked at the other day, that had the Bitcoin hash rate, and it's overall still at all-time highs for amounts of hash power. But yeah, it topped out earlier this year and is now trending down, but only slightly.
Yeah. So
this is a different calculation here. It's against the dollar or something.
It is. So this is the 1 terahash per second hashing power per day. So what I was saying, I guess, is that one concern is that with Bitcoin is that if the hashing rewards payouts keeps halving over time, and apart from, because you've got to take into account hardware costs and all this sort of stuff, but cost of energy and all that sort of stuff gets put into it, they're having to drop the difficulty level of the hashing algorithm over time. So as it makes it less difficult to mine, it actually makes the network less secure as well. So I wonder if that's not something that's sort of over time that's
I've dropped the link in the private chat if you want to open that up, and then zoom out on the 3 years.
Guys, I'm just going to I'm gonna dip out.
That's cool.
DJ Cryptomatic, sorry I can't stick around, mate. I usually dip out about 40 minutes ago. I only stick around for about an hour, but it's been really nice having you on and chatting to you. And look forward to at some stage waking up very early and coming on your show.
Yes, please do. See, maybe there is a chance, or maybe you're traveling at in a better time zone or something like that. But then you have other things to do than streaming with us. But yeah, it's been great to.
I'd really love to come on. It's just a matter of logistics and timing. Sure. we'll hopefully make that happen at some stage in future. But I'll say goodbye to everyone in the chat, and I'll just say that this one last thing before I do leave about the DESI thing. Very quickly, the difference between a hex stake and the DESI stake is that DESI will automatically restake after a 1 week period. So if it is hex that you want, the beauty of the hex stake is that you've got 2 weeks grace period at the end stake time. But then if you didn't stake, even you'll lose 1% per week of the stake value.
Yeah,
however,
terrible.
But yeah, you like if you did it in 4 weeks after the stake ended, it wouldn't be like hugely detrimental as far as whereas with DESI it would just restake for another 10 years, which is a long time, and probably why DESI is at such a massive discount. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to dip out. See you later, guys.
No worries. Yeah, thanks, 43. Good to chat to you, bro. Have a good weekend.
You too. Cheers.
See you, mate. So I've got that chart that you were talking about there with the Bitcoin.
Yeah, if you click on the 3 years there, you see that it's still crazy, the amount of hash power that is out there. I think you can drag that a bit more.
Oh, I see. Like
mine looks different. It's a bit more drastic. I just clicked on 3 years at the top.
I did 3 years.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay, interesting. So this is the hash rate over time.
So this is the hash rate, how it has developed, and this is still crazy amounts of hash. But it peaked out in, I want to say, April this year, and now it's trending downward in connection with the price. Like there is always seems to be a connection to the current price.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. It's like it's a good indicator of like how high something can go and how.
But it's still very high. It's still very high, very secure, I think. So.
Oh, at the moment it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like in the future, like if you have multiple halvings in the future, and then the miner reward keeps going down, either the price of Bitcoin has to keep going up really, really high to kind of offset that drop in miner rewards, which I think is the idea.
Yeah.
Or otherwise miners, if they're not profitable, they're going to drop out. They're going to stop doing it, right? So that's, you get Bitcoin miner capitulation, and that's normally sort of in the bottom of the bear. But even now, after this halving, I think the miners, they need the price to go up to be able to.
Absolutely.
So there's like a pressure on that. So to keep the network secure, you need the price of Bitcoin to go up, because otherwise, if there's not enough miners out there and they're not actually sort of securing the network, so to speak, because they're not financially motivated to do it.
The halving long term is a big pumpermental, a built-in.
It's interesting, isn't it? And by looking at some of those things, you can get ideas. I still think the pi cycle top indicator is a really good one. But yeah, so the other thing, DJ, you're welcome to stick around. I tend to do a bit of a degen sort of segment at the end of this stream where we just sort of look at all sorts of. I don't want to like.
Richard Hart doesn't follow me anymore, so I'm free. I'm free to shill shit. Let's go.
That's right. No. We don't shill it. We just look at it. Sometimes the best trade people to do is to not to trade at all.
Yeah.
It's like the sort of the violence thing as well. It's like sometimes the best thing to do is just to walk away. Like when we look at these things, it's just out of curiosity and look at. But I also like to do it for myself because I'm busy during the week, like working and stuff. I need to see where we're at with the charts to be like, are we still on track? Like, so. But yeah, it's we out of courtesy to 43, we tend to wait for him to go because it's like he's like,
until he leaves, and then
because it's we start talking about some random stuff and
cat's away. Yeah,
that's right.
Before you get into that, I just had a comment about that Bitcoin stuff and the hash rate and the mining and that. I reckon at some point miners will start dropping out because there's other things opening up for them now with with AI building up and more adoption with that, and also things building on it, because I've seen some stuff about like Bitcoin, I guess, mining farms that are actually signing contracts with AI companies to do their work for them, and their processing for like, all sorts of stuff. But like for now, things like rendering different types of images and, real in-depth type AI rendering and yeah, all sorts of processing. So if they start getting better money elsewhere, like you said, the security and the hash rate could actually drop a fair bit because they can just go chasing other stuff. So there's, I don't know if that's been in the thoughts or in the plan from the beginning, with the, Satoshi's sort of outlook and stuff, but there is a big shift that could happen, Yeah.
But that what you just said, plus, obviously Bitcoin mining now being a big corporate play, is big corporate business. I think there is like just 2 major pools left on the world, a bunch of small ones who don't really matter, but there's like 2 big ones who hold the majority of the hash power, and we are promoting DeFi, real DeFi. So Bitcoin has become, because of that, you could argue in a weird, twisted way that it's very centralized. Given that only a few corporations are still able to hold up the hash rate game.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's only going to get more so as well. Yeah,
that's true, isn't it? And there's something like 40% of the Ethereum nodes are by two big players.
Right.
So in terms of centralization, it's PulseChain actually has a really good metric. We talked about that Nakamoto coefficient, and yeah, I think we've got such a large community, and we've got that sort of real on-chain kind of ethos where we're sort of
and everybody can run nodes. RH doesn't even run nodes anymore. It's all the community. So that's one of the
really what it's all about.
Things about PulseChain.
That was Satoshi's vision as well. It's like that. The peer-to-peer cash, like that was the actual transacting between peers. So the meme or the narrative of Bitcoin changed to a store of value and digital gold. But in that Bitcoin Satoshi white paper, it was peer-to-peer currency. That's what it was meant for. So, I think having that, the censorship-resistant nature of PulseChain, the fact that we can self-host, the fact that we can be our own validators, it really is probably more in line than what Bitcoin is today. Yeah, with the original Satoshi vision. Awesome. All right, well, yeah, let me just whip up this intro thing here. Here we go.
I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. What is happening?
Right. What is happening now? This is the transition. Just so we know that we're going to entering the filthy weeds of the charts.
Okay.
No, look, it's not as scary as it sounds. So basically, I just wanted to look at some of these things for my own benefit and maybe for the 104 people watching, so they get a feel for some of this stuff. So, say, for example, the S&P 500 at the moment has been, on the weekly, has been on this mad uptrend for ages.
Crazy.
And it flirted with the 20 MA, kept going up, bounced off it, and it's still, all the moving averages are stacked, and the price is above everything. And that kind of drives everything else, as much as people don't like to admit it. S&P 500 and NASDAQ indexes, those sorts of things.
If you follow Wales Only on the X, he just tweeted, I think it was yesterday, that the amount of foreclosure homes in the state of New Jersey is at all-time highs, like higher in the last month than it was in 2008. And that is also when we had the S&P at all-time highs. So, I don't want to be...
Oh, no. I'm not saying that there's not a massive recession coming. I think there is.
Rain on the party, but be careful, guys.
Oh, no.
I'm on board.
I'm on board. Look, I was looking at this one. So back in 1980, you could buy 6 Big Macs with 1 hour of minimum wage, right? This is no joke.
Right.
So the minimum wage in 1980 was $3.10. This is in the US. So $3.10 minimum wage per hour, $3.10. Big Macs, 50 cents. So you could buy 6 Big Macs. Now, minimum wage is $7.25, apparently. Oh, so this is in 2022. This was where the example came from. And then you can only buy, what is it here? So 0.9 of a Big Mac per hour. So you could used to be able to buy 6.2. Now you can buy 0.9. Well, in 2022 that was. So that kind of gives you an idea of, like, I know it's a random metric, like Big Macs per minimum wage hour.
Yeah,
I know it's a random thing, but it kind of gives you an
Unhealthy
idea.
anyway.
Yeah, and that doesn't take into account that they're half the size now too.
Exactly.
Half
Yeah,
size,
the buns
materials
are
have
much
gotten
smaller.
cheaper.
Shrinkflation. Yeah.
Exactly.
Shrinkflation, exactly. But it shows you that your actual purchasing power has been diminishing greatly over time. And sometimes you look at these CPI values and things like that, they're manipulated because it depends on what's in that market basket. So you can be saying, oh, well, the inflation is not so bad. Yeah, but hang on. Every time I go to the groceries shop, it costs twice as much as it did 2 years ago. So I really do think that there's, we're in for some hard economic times.
Oh, yeah.
But in saying that, the S&P 500 has been killing it. And I think that's why Bitcoin has been doing really well as well. Apart from the fact that it's just, sort of due to, in terms of its cycles, if you believe in that cycle theory. But it did get rejected off this, previous, well, I guess off the all-time high, the new all-time high that it made. It's sort of 71K. And Ethereum's been doing it as well. But I still think that, if you look at where in previous halving cycles, it had, I think it was about 3 years from the all-time high to where it had broken the all-time high, like broken it with substance. It's about 3 years. And so that 3-year mark is in November of this year. That's that vertical line there. So we could just be literally grinding sideways and we might not see it go up until then, or we could see it go up and then come back down, or down and then back up. It doesn't really matter, but we're sort of still on track for that sort of 4-year cycle. Ethereum has been doing the same thing, rejected off its all-time high sort of resistance there, like that previous one. But the chart looks kind of encouraging because it hasn't closed below the 20 MA, and it looks like this 10 MA is kind of bouncing off the 20 there. So I'm thinking with the ETF that's coming up in the next week, if that starts trading like the Van Eck or BlackRock ETF, we could start to see some people rotating some capital into Ethereum. So I'm sort of pumped about that. Solana had the opposite. It kind of had this close below the 20 MA, and they sort of did a bit of a death cross there with the 10 MA and 20. So I was like, ooh, is this, was that guy literally tattooing Solana to his forehead? Like, was that the literal figure?
Local top, yeah.
Local top, maybe. But then it has pumped in the last week on the back of that.
On the ETF news,
Yeah, exactly. So, but there is resistance and support, I guess, here. So we'll have to wait to see where that week closes out. And, hopefully it can hold support. But if not, this could be scary for a lot of Solana holders. There's a bunch of other charts. Put them in the chat. So this is what I sort of encourage people to come in here. And g'day, Ashtree. How you going, mate? Pulses. I've been going with the PulseChainers. I like the idea of, so you get the Bitcoiners. Some people say PulseCans, but I like PulseChainers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that one.
But if you've got any tickers you want me to have a look at in the chat, I just sort of race through these really quick. So, but even if you look at some of these other chains, I'm pretty bearish on some of their charts, like the 20 MA. Once you sort of break that 20 MA, and then the price goes below the 10 and the 20 and they're inverted like that, it's like not a good sign. So that's AVAX. I mean, some of these things like GameFi, like whatever happened, I don't know. People are still talking about it, but I don't see it. It looks pretty wrecked to me. But I guess they can say the same thing about our chart.
Yeah, I think all those sort of altcoins are facing the same thing at the moment. I think it's just a trend of the market. Like most of them are. Oh, what's this? I can't see that.
Ton is still looking good though.
Okay, yeah. No, that is.
Nia did that same thing as Solana where it broke the 20 MA.
Yeah.
I think Kaz is one that you were talking about a while ago. That actually still looks okay as well. So there's a few.
Right.
This is funny. This is the PulseChain chart. And so Klaz drew this giant tit on it.
The hanging tit formation.
This is the tit formation. So, and she was sort of saying the nipple was sort of peaking at around the 22nd of July. She reckoned that was the bottom. I don't know if she was just taking the piss out of my TA, but she was just like, is this giant
That's
tit?
a pretty funny thing to leave there for you. Oh, that's gold.
That's funny. But yeah, so that could be respecting the tit. Like, let's see it. It's out for the boys. I think we could be seeing a bottom around about this. Where are we? Yeah, it's basically 404, isn't it? So that's for Pulse. And then, so if you look at the, say, Hex versus, so if I go to the PulseChain core coins here, so I like looking at these ratios. So let's just get rid of some of this. So this is Hex in terms of dollars. Yeah, so that's down quite low. I mean, not quite all-time low, but it's broken down resistance. But it is pumping, for the week. It's up 9%. Holy shit. Is Hex up 9% today? Oh, there you go. All right, scratch all that bearish talk. We're back. We're so back.
Yeah,
we're so back.
I was listening to an old Richard Hart stream. I think it was, when Hex had maybe just done 100x or something like that. And he was saying about, people complaining about the price being low. And I think it's true what he says. It was a good reminder of like, if people are, the only people that are complaining about the low price are people that are looking to sell like now. So I know that we could all do with, a good pump or whatever, but are we, or, speaking for myself, not looking to sell right now, or even if it did pump a bit, it's not something I'm just going to go and sell. So I don't care actually that the price is low, because you've got to flip that mindset. And we talk about it a lot, but I just got, hearing him say it again was a good reminder. Like, these prices, there's actually nothing wrong with it. All it says is you could buy in, and it's good for buyers, just not for sellers. And that's all I can see right now.
If you're planning on selling in sort of mid to late 2025 anyway, then all it is opportunity to lower your cost basis.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it'd be nice for morale, I guess, for it to be pumping, but it's kind of, like you say, it's irrelevant unless you're selling.
Yeah, so, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it's morale, but it's also for promoting, because I consider myself as somebody who actively tries to promote this, and it's just very hard to
like. It is hard.
Motivated with these kind of charts. Like, I'm staked anyway for 11.5 years, I think, is my current average. So I'll be around, and I'm not looking to sell anything, in the short term. But I want to promote it, and I want to talk about it and get people excited about it, and that's just so much easier when we have the right chart.
100%.
It's really hard, isn't it? And it's funny how the human mindset and how we work is, because a green chart would make people be more keen to get in, but it's at a worse opportunity. And then just say they were about to buy in and then it dropped again, would they then lose faith before they put the money in?
Yeah.
If
you have a lot of doubt out there that it will never recover, and that's
right.
And then you have these narratives that cycle one coins never recover, and it's true, many alts never have, but they also don't have the community that we have, and they don't have that code that stands behind the Hex system. So it's very, very different.
That's true, and also they don't have the founder. I mean, RH
that as well.
is the GOAT. Like, let's not shit ourselves. You don't fade the goat. So you just
Let's not
gotta
get it
back
twisted.
a winner. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, get Wales only on here. He'll tell you what's up. But look, it's just one of those things where if you're looking at Wimbledon and you've got Federer or Nadal or Serena Williams or someone like that, like you just back them. You don't think too much about it. Like these guys they're winners. So
Yes.
I mean that's the way I see it. Like if you don't think that RH is going to just lay down and let his legacy go down the drain, he's not going to do that. That's not his nature. Like his nature is a winner, and he's going to want to see this pump. And he's smart. He's smarter than most people out there. So he's going to
smart,
and
he's also in private. He's the nicest guy ever. Like he can be very harsh and very much out there, but I stuck with him since the beginning, and we had DM conversations, and I've met him in person in London at the 2-year Hex anniversary.
Awesome.
And he is just a great person to talk to be around with. So don't believe in all this, the stuff that's out there. So when it comes down to it, I fully support that man.
Nice. That's good to hear. Thanks, DJ, for that. I appreciate your input, your insights, because you've been around for so long, and you've got a bit more insight into it.
That's the one thing with me. I have all the history. Like my first Telegram recorded message in the Hex Telegram room is from January 2019. So that's like a year before, almost a year before the launch of Hex. So I've been around for the duration. Yeah.
That's the way. That's it. No, mad respect, man. We know that you've been around for a while, so that's awesome. So this is the Inc Pulse chart. So Inc in terms of Pulse. So this to me looks like a good sideways chart for liquidity providing. So PLS Inc. Yeah, look at it, it's just going sideways, and it's kind of on support as well there. But that's why some of these ratios, when you sort of look at them from that point of view, like I think Inc. So also Hex PLS has been going on a bit of a downtrend, but sort of seems to be going a bit sideways now for the last week or so. But yeah, I think PLSX and Pulse in terms of, or Inc in terms of PLS and Inc in terms of PLSX, like it's pretty much going sideways. So I guess what I'm saying is your impermanent loss is lower if you're in these farms when they're sort of tracking together. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So did I talk about I want to talk about the Bitcoin ETH ratio as well.
Yeah.
So ETH BTC. So we've been looking at this downtrend for a while, and it's this sort of linear regression that's been going on. So Bitcoin's been outperforming ETH, but there is this weekly support here, which it broke down, and then now it's come back up, busted through it, and is kind of respecting it. It also looks like it's about to break out of this channel.
Yeah.
So if we can get an ETH BTC trend reversal, that would be epic. And look at the way it's just sitting on that support.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
If we can get a little spring off this,
do you think that's why Richard's encouraging? Do you reckon that's why he's encouraging, maybe people to think about pulling liquidity if they've got
been tweeting about that a lot.
There?
Yes.
Because of like Mt. Gox coins coming out and stuff like that. If liquidity was removed and people dumped their Mt. Gox coins, then it might not pull Ethereum down too far, and it'll break out nicely. So there's Germany
cool. And have been selling their Bitcoin, and you know about that one, DJ, and
your mates.
I think the US as well.
I know.
How could you allow it?
It's not actually Germany like that. It's a count. It's like we have Germany's divided in like 16 different counties, and they have their own police force in each county, if you will. And it's just one county that happens to, arrest these guys back in the day because this is seized Bitcoin from a pirating website where people could purchase access to movies and software and whatever, and pay in Bitcoin. This is back in 2012, 13, when it was still pennies on the dollar, but it's a huge amount of Bitcoin that was seized. And so that happens to be that police department, if you will, in that county. They've been dumping it. So it's not like the German government made this wholesome decision and we're going to sell all our Bitcoin. This is a bit tricky there. But yeah, it doesn't matter. That end of the story is still that a lot of that stuff has been dumped in the past.
I mean, the US government's been selling
the US
Bitcoin,
as well. Other
Mt.
governments have to. Yeah, they think it's the top, I guess.
I mean, we just talked about a whole bunch of reasons why we don't think it's the top.
Exactly. Terrible traders.
Exactly. And it does make you wonder as well about, if Mt. Gox, because a lot of people are pricing in this FUD, kind of saying, oh, well, Mt. Gox is going to be, dumping all this sort of thing. But Bitcoiners, if you ask me, I don't think they're going to be dumping all their Bitcoin because they know it's not the top, right?
Yeah.
Like they might sell some portion of it, but they're going to wait it out.
Yeah, well,
cycle top before they dump
a lot of people that a lot of people that bought, when Mt. Gox was around and operating, they probably rebought again, and so a lot of them could be true believers. They might not all just be some random guy that accidentally bought it and then now he's going to be a gazillionaire. They could well and truly just hold it for the long run, but it also depends if they're actually going to be getting it coin for coin what they actually lost, or if a lot of people are saying it could be just the dollar value of the time that it happened. So do you guys know what the actual answer is on that?
I've heard a lot of FUD. I've heard people who are saying, oh, they're going to get $600 per Bitcoin back and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just like, nah, man, they got to give the coins back. Like they have the coins, they got to give the coins back. They don't own those coins. Like they were just holding them. In their exchange.
I also hear various theories, but the guy to talk to is your man Tangent, because he made it public that he's one of the creditors. Or
he is always welcome on here. If Tangent is in the audience, he is always welcome.
He was affected by the hack, so he should have first source information on what's going on. Yeah.
In fact, it would be perfect time for him to come on because I was just about to talk about some Tangang tickers as well.
Tangang tickers.
But I'm going to go through it real quick as well because this is just how I like to do it. So HOA, so this is on the weekly. It looks like, we saw a bit of a downtrend. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I was sort of saying that, once you get this price below the 20 MA, which hadn't happened for a long time, that's when you got to start to watch out. And then it kind of went below this support here and then went above it and then back below it. So it's kind of been going down. I would like to see the price go back above, like close at least a day above the 20 MA before I sort of start to call it that is the bottom. But, that's the problem with moving averages as indicators. You're always going to be a little bit late to these things. You're never going to be able to pick it because you're kind of waiting for that confirmation. So that's how I like to do it. I mean, you can break it down into like a 4-hour or something like that and be like, oh, well, in that case, the price is above the 24-hour moving average. But I at least try and keep it to daily timeframes and ideally weekly. But you can certainly be late to these calls. But yeah, so that was HOA. I think a lot of these charts were sort of very similar to the HOA chart, but they were sort of almost exacerbated. So I think Dick with Butt, it broke down the 20 MA here, and then it just priced below both, and they inverted. It's still inverted. So you've got the 10 below the 20, excuse me, and the price is only just now peaking above it. So, and then I did this fib channel, so it looked like maybe it might respect one of these lines. Maybe it's respecting this 78.6%. Maybe we've seen a bottom. I mean, some people, I think somebody talks about 50% retracements are good times to get in. But yeah, I'd like to see the price at least go above that 20-day MA there
Are there any other resistances if you zoom out a bit, or?
Some of these coins aren't that old.
Yeah, no,
so even in terms of like, you can't really do weekly sort of stuff. So in terms of dailies, where are we? We're here. Yeah, pretty much anytime you see these candles like flat top like that, you know, you could say that there's a if I just sort of put something around about here, you could say it's like approaching maybe some resistance there. But yeah, it's not strong resistance. We'll see. But it depends on what sort of time frames you're trading on, or not at all if you're DJ. But yeah, so that's, you know, I'm just going through this stuff. So Dick with Butt, Orange Man good. Okay, so this is what I was saying. You know, I would be looking for a bottom in this regard where you have the price breaking above the 20-day MA, like it has, and it looks like you're going to start to see the 10-day MA above the 20, and then the price above both. If you see that, then you're going to say uptrend kind of resumes. So we'll see. This could just be a bit of a pump because this is Orange Man good. This is could be based on Trump and the debate that he had just the other day. So but yeah, if that was the bottom,
that's the debate pump.
Yeah, it could be a good time to get in. Let's watch that one. So I mean, that's up 30% for the day. Peach is looking pretty wrecked. I don't need to say much about that. But maybe I'm looking in the wrong pool, but there's 118K of liquidity. This is the Peach Cream pool. Chetan also wrecked. I mean, yeah, excuse my bluntness, but price below both 10 and the 20. Doesn't look like it's bottomed yet. Don't know. Cookies, similar. You won't know until you get that confirmation. So, and then last one here is na. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's forming a bit of a rounded bottom, but still, I would wait for the price to at least break above the 20. That's there, the 20-day MA there. So that's pretty much all.
They're all pretty heavily tied to HOA, aren't they? So once we see that start to move as well, it's
maybe. I think so, but I think they kind of tend to pop a little bit. They're in their own. Yeah. So they sort of, some of them pop at different times. That's why it's good to just check in on them, you know? I mean, look, I won't lie. I sold, like, as soon as it broke down the 20 MA, I sold up here. So I'm a G'd on a 2X kind of guy with some of these things.
You're quick on it. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm just like,
little old lady strategy.
I just went, well, once it breaks below the 20 MA, you know, but we're not talking large dollars as well. So
yeah.
You know, I enjoyed a bit of a run up, and then I just wanted to get it into stables because then it gives you the opportunity to buy back lower. That's just how
I'm interested to see what's happening with all these once PulseChain has like a serious move up. If that theory really holds,
yeah,
with the rising tide lifts all the ships.
Good point.
So,
that would be really interesting to see, because if they're, depends on how they're pooled, right? So the largest liquidity in this na pool is with Cream.
Yeah.
So unless Cream is pooled with
but
PLS,
then Cream might be pulled with Pulse at some stage, or HOA or something. Like it can go through 10 connections. I think you're right. But yeah.
I think you're right. So yeah, look, it's interesting. This is one community. There's others. You know, there's the SolidX guys. What's that doing? Oh, this is pretty wrecked actually. This has been going down for quite some time.
And I don't know what the strategy is there, because the guy was all bullish and I will pump this and you want to buy with me, and then
the DJ, this is why
I'm like this, like
DJ, this is what I'm saying is the charts don't lie. Like you don't have to listen to narratives or emotions of why, and people go, well, this guy's going to buy because he's a big whale or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, I've heard that before. That's awesome. But then once you see, you know, some of these drops, like you can pretty much just, even on the daily here, once these moving averages inverted, I mean, it's inverted there, but again here, you know, you would limit your exposure. And then this was support here. This broke down from that support.
Oh, yeah.
And it's halved since then. So if you got out around here, you could get double your coins if you bought back now. So I don't know. I don't like to believe people's emotional sort of reasoning, you know, if you will. It's like I'd rather just see what the chart is telling me, because it's just a moving average. It's just the maths, right?
Yeah, it's another one of those things where now it's gone down low. They're talking about putting a crash game that is tied to like SolidX. So they're trying to build, you know, a bit of a fun sort of thing behind it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But the other, you know, the thing I think with this stuff is, what's the point in pumping it right now? Like the dude clearly has the dollars to pump it. Like he owns a casino and stuff like that. But why right now? Because it's not going to go far. We've seen it with everything. But yeah.
Well, depends. Yeah. I mean, people can't help but FOMO in when they start seeing green candles. So you just have to sustain it, right? And that's the argument against the SAC wallets buying up. You know, so if the SAC wallet's buying up the chart and then people are selling it down, they'll sell it down if they think that it's just a one-off or a this and that. But if you start building momentum and you turn that chart around and you start buying it up, all of a sudden it's that sentiment thing that I was talking about, that feedback loop where if people don't think the price is going, like if people think the price is going down, they think they can sell it and buy back more tokens at a cheap price. They think it's going up, they know they're going to get left behind. It's just that sentiment. Once you see it starting to go up, you think, oh crap, now I've got to get back in.
And there are still, when we're talking PulseChain, PulseX, there are still, I think, I don't know this, but I think that there are a lot of hexagon wallets who sold the top still sitting in stables, waiting for that ultimate market confirmation to then join in that whole parade. Because we've seen it with Hex. Once it goes, it just goes. But we're waiting for that go. Let's go. When is go time?
Look, there is a momentum aspect to it as well. I think you need to have that momentum where you can sustain the buying pressure. So like you were saying, True Blue, about like, why would SolidX pump it now if it's just going to get sold down? Yeah, that's true, unless he just literally sustained that buying pressure daily, like just buying. Like then all of a sudden people get that idea that, oh, hang on, this is going up now. You know, it's just that flick of the switch is in your brain, and humans can't help it. Like you can't really blame people for doing that. If they think it's going down lower, then they're not going to buy it. Like that's just sentiment. So
yeah, that's right. I think once we see Ethereum and Bitcoin actually steadily, you know, or comfortably above their all-time highs, I think we'll see all sorts of, you know, inflow and people starting to pump then. I just think that the main, you know, the big portion of the market doesn't have the momentum, like you're saying. Yeah.
There's wrecked.
Yeah.
In the interim, excuse my bluntness as well when I say some of this. I don't mean like forever, and I don't mean like, don't get angry at me, people, teddy bear holders or whatever. Like I don't care. So and if it could be a really good asset in the future, right? I have no idea, but I'm just saying, like right now, it's in a downtrend and it's not looking great. So hopefully they can turn that around. But like, see, that's the thing, you know, you listen to Moon King and he'll tell you it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yes.
So, you know, you got to look at what is the chart telling you rather than what is just what people are saying. BBC, I'm trying to be fair as well to these different communities as well. Like if Tango chart is wrecked, I say it's wrecked. If the teddy bear chart's wrecked, it's wrecked. And this, like, I would, if 9-inch was wrecked, I would literally say it. And I think I may have, but at this point, you know, BBC was actually looking pretty good, and then it looked like it didn't. Oh, that's right. So we draw some resistance here, and it couldn't respect it. It couldn't bounce off it, and then it had a double sort of rejection of that resistance there. So so maybe, and I'm sure if I put the moving averages on there, then you can probably see that that's also in a bit of a downtrend. So yeah, it's pretty across the board, unfortunately. A lot of prices are wrecked. Oh, that was a meme coin on base. That's
John in the
that
chat has E-Hedron.
okay. Ah, there you go. That's the spirit. So E-Hedron.
There might not even be a chart for that.
It's a hard one to. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's got so little liquidity. Is that seriously? No, that can't be right.
There's not. Yeah. There's not.
Oh, maybe all the liquidity is on Pulse. Oh no, this looks like. Oh man.
A lot of it has come over.
Let me look on so E-Hedron on PulseChain. Oh, so hang on. I need the ticker I need the contract address for E-Hedron, and then I'll just look on Deck Screener and see if I can see it on PulseX. Oh, here we go. So this is Hedron from Ethereum on PulseChain because that's where the liquidity is.
Yeah, it should still give us
still
the
not,
chart.
Still not a lot because this is this is on 9mm, and this is only got 5.9K.
And there's only 19 days of history too.
And only 19 days of history. So maybe if we go down, my God, there is no liquidity for this, like $400.
Yeah, it's hard to find a chart for some of these.
It is these days. Yeah.
Look, I could do it there's a grand 19 days. It's just, this is in a na pool on 9mm. This
is real degen.
Nah, look, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I can't find a good chart for that. If you know where that has the most liquidity, but just looking at this, we're talking $5,000. Oh, it's on Fux, is it?
Yeah, that's what Red Squirrel said. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's that terminal? Was it Gecko? What's that terminal that I think I had to use? A Gecko terminal. Here we go. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, I don't want to waste people's time.
Yeah. Red Squirrel's got you back.
So I've got Gecko terminal here. I've got the contract. And this looks like it's the Fux pools.
John better still be watching.
Yeah, but 7 zeros and a 5, that sounds about right for price.
7 and this is Hex Hedron. Oh, here we go. Hedron.
Hex. Yeah.
V2. I don't want to waste people's time.
Yeah, skip.
$2,000 in liquidity. Oh, here we go. Hedron iBurn. It's on Fux, and there's $2,000 in liquidity. That's only a month old anyway, this chart. Why do people do this? They're like, watch me give Dozer a random ticker. That's the shittest chart. Someone was asking me this.
Challenge.
I reckon the answer is wrecked anyway.
Yeah.
That's it. And I coasted liquidity on Fux. Yeah, look, the Fux guys need to get their stuff together and hit up Deck Screener and say you need to start plotting this stuff because
that would be
Deck
nice.
Screener doesn't plot the Fux pools, and it's a real pain in everyone's ass. So if you guys in the Fux community like want more people talking about your charts, then you got to hit up Deck Screener. Next, so Frank, what's up? How you guys doing? And that's about it. I don't think there's any other tickets here. All right, we did it.
Sweet as.
Anyway, that's just a little bit of a quick look across the board as to what's happening in the PulseChain sort of ecosystem. 107 viewers, so I'm glad to see that some people are still interested in what we have to say. And I think, just a little bit more time and we'll see. Ethereum ETF on the way. We've got a few positives coming.
Yeah.
And all of the things we talked about today, there's a lot of stuff, in terms of Hex and like the value proposition of some of that stuff long term. So Yeah.
I think another really bullish thing is, this whole court case SEC thing is, I really think all the cards are falling in our favor and in Richard's favor, especially with I don't know if you saw, but the Supreme Court have ruled that they can't use in-house judges anymore for fraud cases. So, that's like a huge thing. And even this hot dog guy, how you
the
think
grumpy wiener.
The grumpy wiener. You go down these rabbit holes. You know how some people have thought and maybe said that, maybe this was all set up so we could have the ultimate bull run, and so Richard can show it, prove it's not a security and stuff. Maybe this was all kind of planned out in a way. What about this grumpy wiener guy? Maybe someone went past and gave him a big tip to tip this thing off, or maybe there's lawyers, this team of lawyers could be working something out where it's like, if they can get this one knocked off, that will give a good sentiment for the next case. And just
so there's a lot of precedents. There's a lot of precedents that can be set, and I think Matty Allen, shout out to him for putting in getting that whale to donate and come up with an amicus brief. And there's been a few things there, a few developments, and I think Ben Jabard as well. He was out there trying
to assist. I think they want to make sure that we don't get a bad president. I think that is their prerogative of what they are trying to do. This whole thing is very surprising to me because we knew about this case. This was filed 2 years ago already in South Carolina, and I think the lawyer himself at the time was tweeting about it on X, so that's how we knew. But my understanding was that they were never able to actually serve Richard the documents, but that may have been totally wrong, and that if the case is still going on now after 2 years, so they probably were able to serve, and then it's
maybe they served them by Twitter or something.
Hopefully catch that fly, as we say, before a bad president is being set. So we get
that's a great point.
I think it's all good stuff.
Yeah, and like you say, there's been a lot of stuff going on. So Coinbase is suing the SEC. So they're accusing federal regulators of trying to cut out the crypto industry.
Gosh, try messing with that one. See what happens there, hey? Coinbase.
So you never know.
Yeah,
Coinbase
they've got
big lawyers.
Behind it,
So I think that the sort of tide is turning a little bit against the SEC. So I think we're going to see some good precedents set, and I'm really bullish on RH's case as well. So that'll be interesting. Maybe that's what the confirmation that we need.
100%. Yeah.
But DJ, is there any sort of last words or anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. And also shout out to you guys for still continuing sort of the legacy of the Hex Late Show, what they've been doing on Tuesdays for the Australian audience. And you guys are also going on for a good year now, almost with the happy hour, I think.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And it's very important that you guys keep doing that.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Like True Blue's been a good stalwart of the community as well, and sort of encouraging me and 43, of course, to keep
especially
going.
In these downtimes. It's like the good and bad weather streamers. We got to be out there for the guys. When we have the green candles eventually, you will see everybody out there again and streaming and coming back out on the eggs like they've never left. But I think real ones know who's been streaming all this time and who
That's
who's
right.
been out there for the community. So
that's so funny when you see it on Twitter, where someone will come out of the blue from nowhere and they'll be like, "Where's all the Hexicans? I haven't seen anyone talk about Hex lately." And you're just like, "Who the fuck is this guy? I've never seen you for my life. Where have you been, bro? We've been in the trenches for like years now, just chilling."
You're not talking about DJ's post the other week, are you?
Nah. I just mean like other people will kind of actually I'd forgotten about that one, but
no, it's all good.
That was a legit people saying we do need more streamers out there. But no, some people come out of the woodwork and they're actually scammers is what they are. They're actually people coming in and you can tell because they're not followed by anyone. It's just blow-ins, just sort of going, where are my hexagons at? And you're like, who is this guy? But no, look,
there is an economic energy, or there's some money here in the community because some people made a success with Hex. That's why it's an attractive honeypot for all sorts of people to try to get embedded with the Hex community. That's always been the case, but we got to make sure to see through that. So you just got to keep your guard up a little bit and follow best practices, Papa B, all the sort of security stuff that you guys talk about. And I actually don't mind when the prices go up and new streamers come in or old streamers come back and they want to take over and be the big streamers and all this stuff. I'm like, do it. Let's see it. All right, sweet. I'll be down the beach or something. Like, absolutely. Thank God. Like, so we just do this for the community service almost, and just trying to keep the vibe going. But when prices go up and people want to come back, that's fine by me. And we see some new guys. We had Hexagon on last week.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. And shout out to him and RG as well. He's
you had the captain on. That was a good conversation. Yeah. And he's out there with the PulseChain tour. They have it in Europe. So if anyone happens to be in Europe, there's Lisbon coming up and Portugal. There's Berlin. No, I think Berlin was just the other week. Munich is next in July, where I'll be attending as well. So I'll be in the crowd. I'll just be there, and because I want to experience too. I've never been to any of these. I've been to Hex meetups, but not to any of these PulseChain tour situations. So I'm very curious to see what the energy, what the vibe is like. So,
that's
and
awesome.
then there's another thing happening in UK, I believe. So they're touring Europe this summer.
Yeah, shout out to those guys putting in the hard yards and touring around the world and stuff. So. Is it the PulseChainTour.com or something? What's the?
Yep. I think that's it. Yeah, PulseChainTour.com. Yeah. Wow,
so
that's Jay. She's out there.
That's it. No, full credit. These guys are out there. And if you're in Munich, you might be able to come and see DJ. And
yes,
but if not, catch him on his Twitch streams.
Yeah.
That's just DJ Cryptomatic on
Yes, on Twitch it's DJ_Cryptomatic. On Twitter I'm DJ Cryptomatic, one word. And also you can see me on the What the Hex show, if I can shill my shit here real quick, on Thursdays. On Thursdays with Papa B and Peter and Elmire and Markable Thoughts. That's the crew.
You guys have been doing that for a long time.
We have. And similar to the Australian show that was also on Discourse Syndicate before, that's where we started, and we were both on Tuesdays, and we would be the follow-up show on Wake Up Hex back then, and then we took a page out of your book and also split away and started our own channel, so we could be more free on the creative side, not having to worry about copyright strikes taking the whole Discourse Syndicate down if we fuck up with a little video clip that we shouldn't have played or something. It's just and the diehard fans they came with us and moved it over. Of course, it's not that big of an exposure as we used to have on the Discourse Syndicate. But
that was awesome. I remember the heyday of that.
And the show, they made the transition with us.
Yeah. So I used to always find it hilarious because the Hex Late show would always run into your time slot. So
sometimes there was a little, but it was all friendly banter.
Oh, it was so funny though.
Papa B being upset, they're streaming over a time slot, and then Blue Bum was like, what important things do they have to say anyway? We're streaming here. So,
that's right.
But that was always a bit back and forth.
There was always a bit of banter going on.
Very funny back then.
I thought that was hilarious, especially because the guys they'd be like, we've got to wrap it up in 9 minutes. No worries. And then they would just start talking about AI or tangent. We'd go on some massive tangent about something,
some rant,
and then 20 minutes later, and I'd be watching it going, oh no, they're way over, and then I'd switch to the
Wake Up
Hex, and I'd be going, and then sometimes I think you guys would actually be able to kick them and they would still be streaming because they didn't realize.
Yeah, even though
And
it was
things
on
like
the
that.
same channel. Yeah, sometimes we kick them out. That's
It
true.
was
Yeah.
hilarious. And you'd be trying to
We
tell
were in the
them
green
chat.
room with like, shall we go live? They're still going. Shall we just go live?
That's hilarious.
That was pretty funny. No, that was good. You guys have been doing it for a long time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
very
massive
long
respect for you guys and all
Thank you.
of the guys on on all this and Discourse Syndicate and everything. So we're just trying to pass the torch on. And
Yes,
and if there's
you're doing a
any
great job.
streamers, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And if there's any other streamers out there that want to come on and say hello, hit us up and let us know. We can get you on and yeah, keep it going.
For sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
Stay calm.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks.
for coming on.
Thanks for coming on again, DJ, and True Blue, of course. Always a
Cheers.
pleasure. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to Replay Gang, Twitter bots. Appreciate you all. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, hit the outro, DJ. So yeah.
Here, my
That's
turn
it.
table's back here.
On the turntables. Thanks, guys. Rock on.
See you.